You see the agreement itself, that photograph number 4. Tibet map is shown. Tibet itself is in 3 regions, Yusang, Kham and Amdo. The present Dalai Lama belongs to Amdo. Now I'll get back to the route which I was speaking of earlier. Now this is a Google image. You can imagine from what height it has been taken. But look at what is there on the left extreme, Chardwar, from where this expedition set off on the 17th of January, to where it culminated 20 days later in Tawang at the hoisting of flag. Look at the terrain, how treacherous and how steep the climb is. Now the same details are given on the next 2 slides. Important things are again marked here. 17th of January is when they undertake the mission. 23rd they reach Tenga Valley. 25th, 26th they celebrate the Republic Day. They move ahead. 6th they reach Tawang. 9th they reach Bumla, hoist the flag there, and on 14th of February they hoist the flag at Tawang after having taken the concurrence of the locals. Incidentally, you would kind of be surprised to know that then the complete control over Tawang as we know it was by the Zongpens, or the local governors. 2 of them were there. There was one Zongpen who was the person responsible for all the matters, religion and spirituality, while the other Zongpen was the person responsible for the administration, law and order, collection of taxes, all of that. So these Zongpens used to treat the locals very badly. 2/5 of the agricultural produce is all that the locals got to keep. 3/5 had to be given to the Zongpens, and then that went to Lhasa. And besides that, forced labor were also used, which was surely not to the liking of the locals. So what Maj Bob Khathing did was he convinced them that we will not forcibly employ any labor, but more importantly, we will not take your agricultural produce. All you have to do was just pay rupees 5 as an annual tax to the Government of India, which they were very willing and forthcoming with. Have a look at the altitude profile. Right at the bottom you see the tri-junction, India, Bhutan and Tibet, Bumla, and then as you go a little northwards, the elevation or the altitude keeps increasing. Across what is given as the 16,000 feet, where it is written, just north of it is where Yarlung Sangpo is. Of course, Yarlung Sangpo by itself is a different subject which can be covered on some other day. But this is how it looks. I want to show you 2 sketches that were there. This is for the old timers. You will find this very familiar because we all made pencil sketches like these. These are the sketches that were made by Maj Bob Khathing in his expedition report which he filed. Look at the accuracy with which Bumla is marked. Top left, you see Bumla, then he marks certain important features which are just ahead. I'm not mentioning them here, but people who have served there would know which these are. And then the check post and rest of Bumla post as he assumed. And by and large today, Bumla post is much the same, except of course the fortifications are much better. But what he planned then is what continues even today. Similarly, this is a sketch of Tawang that he made. The township grew astride this subsequently. I just wanted to show you because these are handmade by him. Let's quickly go into the story of the watershed itself. What exactly is the watershed? While the LAC as defined by McMahon was what is in the center where Bumla is written, typically speaking there is no watershed. The actual watershed is a little ahead of that. So it was very ambiguous when he reached there. When Maj Bob Khathing and his party reached there, it was pretty ambiguous. So while they reached Sela, cross Sela, which was the most formidable feature across, when they reached, they had to actually painstakingly establish which is actually the watershed. So this is how they established Bumla, because Sonazong, which was a little ahead, could not be reached because the terrain was difficult. So what is there in this is that this is bounded by the eastern Himalayas on the north. Indo-Bhutan-Tibet tri-junction lies here. 3 prominent ridgelines you've seen here. Area is contiguous to Bhutan, which is very important. North of the Sela Massif you've all seen, but more importantly, south is subtropical and alpine forest. Now here, some pictures which show the flag hoisting. These have been shown earlier also. What I want you to concentrate on is the first 2 photographs on top, where he is developing a consensus amongst the people that for them India is good. While there was a show of power with the bayonets and all mounted, but that was for the consumption of the Tibetans who were there. for the people of Tawang, when he convinced them that for you India is good, they were willingly, they willingly obliged. So I'm now coming towards the end. I'll now tell you of what are the strategic and tactical implications of having got Tawang. Strategic implication, as you know, at that point of time, China was all gung-ho about having occupied Tibet. We could stem the advance of the Chinese. Second is we could establish the Indian sovereignty there. Next, this was done at the willingness of the locals who were there. By doing this, we could establish that connect, centuries-old connect between Lhasa and Tawang. It continued. By doing that, we have been able to establish a strategic lever over China, and it also forms the basis of our ownership of Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh, everyone in the Northeast, and people who have served there long, call it as the crown of the Northeast. Like you say, the JNK is crown of India. Seen from many people's perspective, it is the crown of the Northeast, and these are the tactical payoffs that came. Domination of the Yangtze Plateau itself, domination of the avenues that go into Tibet, troops gain knowledge of that area, and then alignment of McMahon line, which I showed you by those, that map earlier, which was very difficult to establish, got established by his having gone there. As I come towards the end of my talk, I want to bring to light statements made by the 14th Dalai Lama, which is just about a week old, when his book was launched. This book of his is called Voice of the Voiceless. And to be more accurate, let me read out as to what exactly he said, while I'm sure most of you have followed this in media, but it's pertinent for me to speak of what exactly he said. He says, my successor would be born in a free world which was outside China. He also has said that the right of Tibetan people to be custodians of their own homeland cannot be indefinitely denied, nor can their aspirations for freedom be crushed forever through oppression. Now, there is a lot to read in this statement of his. Obviously, the Chinese have gone viral, they've gone very annoyed over this. They've said he's got no business to be interfering as to who will be his successor, all of that. But the point to remember is, for us, it means his successor may well be from Tawang. Who knows? Could be from Dharamshala, could be from Mysore, could be from any of the other 42, 43 locations where the Tibetans reside in India. And when that happens, surely this would not be the last that you would have heard of Tawang. There will be a lot more to hear on Tawang after this. Now, in conclusion, I again, John Khathing sir, I want to go back to what you mentioned in your book. I want to again be very accurate, because in the last 20 to 25 minutes, I have tried to cover as much as I could. But again, quoting from Mr. John Khathing's book, he says, the life and achievements of an individual who achieved more in his lifetime that few of us today can do across several lifetimes. So that sums it all. And from my end, this is what I have to say. There are heroes and then there are legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. With that, I come to an end of my talk. And thank you all once again for patiently listening to me. And Jai Hind to Major Maj Bob Khathing and to all of you. Thank you.